His name is Ronald. He's from Henan, 54 years old, and works as a long-haul truck driver. Since he takes jobs through a mobile app, he doesn't have a fixed loading or unloading spot. He's always on the road, traveling all over the country. His truck has a water tank, so he can wash up right inside the cab. To save water, he even shaved his head, so he doesn't have to worry about washing his hair. This is a small refrigerated truck. It was originally designed with hooks inside to carry whole pigs. But since the pork market hasn't been great lately, it's been used to transport other goods instead. To save time, Ronald often parks right outside the loading site and sleeps there overnight. That way, he can be among the first to load in the morning and avoid waiting in line. Most of Ronald's jobs are scheduled in advance. He sets a loading time with the shipper and workers will be ready when he arrives. This is a small food processing factory that makes skewers for barbecue market. In China, people eat hundreds of millions of skewers every single day. These frozen skewers are super convenient. Just heat them up or throw them on the grill and they're ready to serve. But the taste and texture really can't compare with fresh hand-cut skewers. That's why the market has split into two layers. Frozen skewers support massive low-cost demand and are common on delivery apps and in small eateries, while fresh skewers are more often found in higher-end restaurant and night markets. While the workers were busy loading the truck, Ronald took the chance to wash his clothes with the factory's tap water. He then hung them on the side mirror to dry, and under the hot sun, they didn't take long to dry out. About an hour later, the truck was fully packed. Each worker earned around $5 to $8 for the job. In total, they loaded 472 boxes, with 1,000 skewers in each box. That's nearly 500,000 skewers stuffed into the small refrigerated truck. And finally, with the paperwork signed, it's ready to hit the road. Before getting on the highway, Ronald drove into a nearby town and picked a small local restaurant for lunch. Food on the highway usually costs 2 or 3 times more. He ordered 2 bowls of noodles and a plate of cold bitter melon for it. The noodles are made in typical northern Chinese style. Tomatoes and eggs are stir-fried, then cooked into a thick sauce, and poured over freshly boiled noodles. But honestly, this plate didn't make it very authentic. Each bowl cost around $2, so our lunch for 2 came to just $5 in total. Ronald also likes to prepare some food in advance for the highway. He bought a few shot bean, a type of baked flatbread made from flour. It's crispy on the outside, soft inside, kind of like a pizza crust without cheese or tomato sauce. He also brings along some raw vegetables for vitamins. Like tomatoes and onions. As for eating raw ginger, that's not common in China. It's more of his own unique preference. Everything's set, and the truck finally hits the highway. This trip goes from Zhengzhou, Henan, all the way to Jinhua, Zhejiang, about 620 miles. On China's highways, trucks are limited to 50 miles per hour. So even without a single stop, it would take at least 14 hours to get there. Ronald plans to drive straight for 14 hours without taking a break, just to reach his destination as fast as possible. He's driving a refrigerated truck, which means if he stops to sleep, the cooling system still has to burn fuel to keep running. and that adds extra costs. Even in heavy rain, he pushes on at a speed limit of 80. For him, every mile earned is basically money made at the risk of his own safety.
您已连续驾驶3小时35分钟，请在25分钟内停车休息。
That beeping sound comes from this little device right here. It's connected to the truck system and is designed to prevent drivers from pushing through fatigue. But for Ronald, it's the most annoying thing ever. In China, every heavy truck is required to have one of these timers. After 4 hours of driving, you must stop and rest for 20 minutes before you can continue. Break the rule more than twice and your license can be revoked. The punishment is that strict. So now, Ronald has no choice but to head for the nearest service area and take a 20-minute break. Ronald is making some tea. He removed the passenger seat and built a wooden platform. Bed on top, storage underneath. While he's sipping his tea, let's take a look around the service area. This is Shenzhou service area on China's highway. You'll find a service area like this every 30 miles or so. They offer fuel, restaurants, shops, restrooms, and a place to take a break. The prices here are about 3 times higher than Euro, so most drivers prefer to bring their own food, like canned meals or instant noodles. At this point, Ronald is ready to hit the road again, heading toward Jinhua. To save money, he never uses air conditioning. Instead, he drives with the windows down. But the roar of the wind inside the cabin makes it impossible for us to record any interviews in this episode. Now let's take a look what Ronald keeps in the passenger seat. Here's a bottle of vinegar, which he uses with his meals. This is an ointment for relieving muscle fatigue. And this is a type of herb. Ronald brews it in hot water, believing it helps to strengthen the body and improve health. Among all of Ronald's belongings, the most interesting is this pair of stones, his favorite travel companions. He found them while hauling goods to the Qilian Mountains on China's northwest border. To him, the 2 stones together resemble a sailing boat. In Chinese culture, a sailing boat symbolizes smooth journeys and safe travels. Ronald believes carrying them brings him protection on the road. Since he sees stones as living with water, he keeps them immersed, changing the water regularly and caring for them with great attention. Dinner time, and Ronald is cleaning his ingredients at the Zhongxing service area in Hefei. So far, he's been driving 8 hours straight, clocking 350 miles, with another 270 miles to go before reaching Jinhua. He washed 3 tomatoes and a piece of ginger, then climbed back into the truck to eat. 2 flatbreads, 3 tomatoes, and that piece of ginger. Together, it costs less than 50 cents. If he had grabbed a phone meal at the nearby service area, it would have been at least $5. Ronald told me once he hits the road, every expense counts as part of the transport cost. At his age, truck drivers like him do everything they can to save every penny. Besides eating vegetables for vitamins, Ronald also needs eggs for protein. But there's no way to cook them in the truck, so he just eats them raw. He washes a small bowl, cracks an egg into it, and drinks it down in one go. Just a regular egg. Ronald hasn't even heard of sterile eggs. Ronald asked me to pour some water into the bowl. He gave it a quick rinse and then drank the water along with whatever bits of food were left at the bottom. Back in China during the 70s and the 80s, this was a pretty common habit. Food was precious, and people made sure not to waste a single grain of rice or scrap of vegetables. is still about 7 hours to go before reaching Jinhua, and the GPS says arrival will be around 4 a.m. Normally, Ronald could just get there early, sleep in the truck, and wait until the unloading crew starts work at 8. But instead, he slows down on purpose. He told me that with his knowledge of this truck and the weight of the load, 45 miles per hour is a sweet spot. At that speed, he can save about 10 to 15% on fuel compared to driving full speed. In the trucking world, this is called the fuel economy zone.
您已连续驾驶3小时30分钟。应满满来电。
喂，你好。
你好。
你这有去那个温州的水果是吧？你明天几点装货？
早上5点。
早上5点都装货了？那我跟不上，我8点钟才卸货，那我们家5点都装货了，我跟不上。
Just now, Ronald was on the phone with a shipper, checking the loading time. This is the last service area before he hits the road again. While taking a short break, he's scrolling through the freight platform, hoping to lock in a new load so that once he unloads in Jinhua, he can pick up fresh cargo right away and keep moving. Ronald rarely gets more than 6 hours of sleep at a time. Most of the time, it's just a short nap while waiting to load or unload. If he arrives in the middle of the night, then he can finally sleep in the truck until morning. An hour has passed and still no suitable orders, so he gets back on the road, silently hoping that by the time he reaches Jinhua, a new load will be waiting for him. Ronald's been driving for 17 hours straight, and he's got just 20 miles left to go. For him, this kind of workload is nothing new. It's been his routine for over 30 years. In that time, he's covered more than 3 million miles. That's like circling the Earth 120 times, or making 6 round trips to the moon. He's driven through almost every province in China on nearly every highway. But he rarely stops to take the views or sit down for a local meal. For him, being a truck driver means one thing: getting the cargo safely to its destination. And it's because of drivers like Ronald and the thousands just like him that people in inland cities can enjoy fresh seafood and even can still find tropical fruits from the south in the freezing winters up north. Here we are in Jinhua, Zhejiang, the destination for this delivery. Ronald is tidying up his bed. Since the factory workers won't start until 8, he's got about 2 more hours to sleep. The passenger seat has been taken out and replaced with a wooden board, so the bed is actually pretty decent to lie on. This trip pays about $330. After subtracting fuel and tolls, around $230. Ronald is left with $100 in profit. He says that's already good enough. In the past 2 years, China's long-haul trucking industry has been tough. Too many trucks, not enough cargo, and freight rates have dropped by about 10% compared to 2020. So, that's a day in the life of a long-distance truck driver in China.